Hey guys, welcome to another video of Scent Saga. My name is Deep, and in this video I want to talk about one particular Indian house and one of its fragrance which I felt is one of the best Creed Aventus Absolu clone out there in the market in India. And not only I'm going to talk about that one particular perfume, I'm going to pitch it up against some other perfumes that are said to be very good clones or inspired versions of Creed Aventus Absolu. The name of the perfume house is basically Ssniff N Smell. The name of the perfume is Bright Affairs. Disclaimer, this is not a paid promotion or a sponsored video. I actually went ahead and I got the perfumes because I saw a few comments maybe for a month or two where they are kind of requesting this particular house to be tested. And then I searched for that house. I saw one particular video from a fellow YouTuber in the same niche. He creates content in Hindi and he absolutely loved that DNA. So I went ahead and bought this perfume because one, I know how the DNA is to this particular perfume, and two, that house is basically creating some very niche and rare perfumes which I don't see clones from other houses. And if I had to get them, I had to purchase the perfume which I have never tried. So, you know, it could have been an expensive affair. Although this one is kind of an expensive affair as well. One, because Creed Aventus Absolu is a very expensive perfume. The decants are also very expensive. Around 4 to 5k I was seeing the decants and I was like, no, I can't spend so much money on just one perfume or its decant. Rather, because I am making clone war videos, right? In that I have to spend a lot of money. So what I basically did was I went to the mall over here. I tried to, test it a few times. I went there quite a few times. I tested the smell, noted down all the things I had to note, then came back and I tested with the existing clones that are said to be very good, which is basically Afnan's 9 PM Rebel, which is not a very good clone but says that leans in the DNA of Creed Aventus Absolu, as well as this one, Afnan's Supremacy Collector's Edition. By the way, these are decants that I got from Sentira in case you want to know where I got them from. In this video, I'm going to talk about Bright Affairs as a standalone, as the clone of Creed Aventus Absolu DNA, how it stacks up against the two, and in terms of the pricing, the packaging and everything, is it a good option to buy or you can skip it? Everything will be discussed. So first and foremost, let's talk about the bottle presentation. Like, this looks like a very psychedelic kind of a bottle. When I went into the website, the design philosophy was kind of very psychedelic. Initially, I thought that the bottles are going to look cheap. Honestly, they don't. Like, the stickering and everything is kind of, these are elevated. You can feel the texture of the, the names and everything. So when I initially got it, I was like, no, it looks a bit cheaper in the images, but the entire look and feel is not that cheap. One thing, the atomizer on this one is not controlled or pressurized. They are good atomizers, which does the job, and the bottle quality is also nice. This is how the sprayer works. Throws proper, nice mist. There is no problem. Okay. Also, I am not too very finicky about bottles, just let me tell you. But what really happens is when you're charging a certain amount of money and your bottle looks pathetic or the stickering looks pathetic or it's coming off or peeling off, that is when I have a problem, which is not the case with this one. Okay. Now this perfume is an extra de parfum concentration. This is a 50 ml bottle and the pricing of this particular bottle, 50 ml, is 1700. Now you will like, that's a lot of money for an Indian house, right? Well, see the perfume it's trying to clone. Let me share everything about the perfume and then you make your verdict whether it's something that you should not go for or you should go for, okay? So first things first, the smell. I'm not going to just talk about this smell. I'm going to talk about the others in the mix as well, because or else I will not be able to describe the things to you. This is Afnan's Supremacy Collector Edition. This is Afnan's 9 PM Rebel. 9 PM Rebel starts off with juicy pineapple and a mango-like vibe. It's very fruity. Also, it has got granny apple or something, which is basically green apple. So it is kind of a tad bit sweeter. With this one, Afnan's Supremacy Collector Edition, this is more on the juicy pineapple heavy side, but there is some mossy character from the beginning of the perfume. But both of them kind of misses out on one thing, which is with the presence of spices that Aventus Absolu DNA has from the beginning. This does that. In the dry down, if you come to the notes of Aventus Absolu DNA, you will find that there is ginger, there is nutmeg, there is clove, there is some minute amount of sandalwood into the mix. Collector's Edition does not have that. Collector Edition mostly leans more towards the floral route. It's a bit more citrusy, it's a bit more floral. While in case of 9 PM Rebel, it's more on the sweeter side. It's like a Qaeda al-Fursan mixed with a Club de Nuit Intense Man Pure Parfum. Like, it's Aventus and Qaeda al-Fursan mixed together. With Afnan's collector edition, it has got more depth, but it's not 100% near to the Creed Aventus Absolu. It will look like a reprise version or a remix version of a song, kind of like that. It's the same song, but it's kind of remixed. With this one, this feels like a cover, like somebody tried to do the cover of that exact particular song. It might not be the same singer singing, but it's the same song, same vibe, and it's kind of like 80-85% over there. When you kind of smell it in the air, it's kind of very virtually unidentifiable. But when you come up close with the OG, like the Creed Aventus Absolu, then you will be able to figure out where the quality and the depth of Aventus Absolu lies, and that is justifiable. Like the amount of money that they are charging, they should be investing in natural stuff or something. Like it's too expensive. Now, one more thing that I felt, like in the opening of Aventus Absolu, there is a note of blackcurrant. The other perfumes kind of misses out on that particular blackcurrant note. However, this one does not. This does have that. So imagine, like, if I have to pictorially represent what this smells like, or Aventus Absolu DNA smells like, imagine a Creed Aventus DNA. If you haven't smelled it already, you should not be listening to perfume reviews. You should be, right? So Creed Aventus DNA with some added note of spices, a bit more brighter, a bit more fresher, a bit more youthful, a bit more sweeter, with notes of tonka bean, a bit of sandalwood at the dry down. There is some vetiver, there is some patchouli. So it's kind of a very more nuanced, very more in-depth, playful, and a bit more, say, spicy version. And also, it's said, like, there is some Dior Sauvage Elixir-like vibe to the Creed Aventus Absolu dry down. That is the reason what I did is basically, I ordered 2 more perfumes. Both of them are coming from Whiff Culture, okay? I am also testing out that website, which I'll share very soon with you. I have ordered Theorem Matrix, and I've ordered Armav's Club de Nuit Précieux. So once those comes into the mix, I'll make another entire, clubbed version of all the perfumes that I have. But for now, the only thing that closely resembles the Aventus Absolu DNA is this one, in my opinion. Now, one thing, I talked about the smell structure and everything, but what about the performance, right? Well, hear me out. This is an extra de parfum, but it's not a beast mode projecting perfume, okay? This is strong. I would say it's between moderate and strong. Say if strong is 100 and moderate is 50, it's kind of 75, okay? In terms of the rating. It projects for around 1 to 1.5 hours easily in the current setting that I'm in, where we are transitioning from summer to monsoon in a controlled AC environment. This lasted for around 6 to 8 hours on my clothes, with 6 to 6.5 during the daytime and around 7 to 8 during the evening. So it's a very decent performer when it comes to the overall performance and projection for the perfume. And overall, the blend quality, you might ask, like the blend quality, how good is it? How bad is it? The perfume is very well blended, okay. Does that mean it has got no alcoholic blast? You might feel, if you're nitpicking for the first 30 seconds to maybe 40 seconds, you might nitpick on the alcohol, but within that 30 seconds or so, it kind of settles down. So the blend quality is actually good. Now, I have talked about the performance, I have talked about the smell. Then only one thing remains, which is like the overall experience and whether you should go for this perfume or not, which is what I'm coming to now. The perfume is priced at 1700 for a 50 ml. So effectively for a 100 ml, the price becomes 3400. Now you will say, oh my God, 3400. That's a lot of cost for an Indian perfume that I'm buying that is not coming up in a fancy bottle. I do understand that. And Afnan Supremacy Collector Edition is selling for around 3800, 3900 for 100 ml. So why do I need to buy this? Why shouldn't I buy the Supremacy Collector's Edition? Or after 9 PM Rebel is much more cheaper, say 500, 600 or even 1000 rupees cheaper. Why shouldn't I go for that and this one? The answer is twofold. One, if you are looking for any perfume for that matter, not that Aventus Absolu DNA, then there is no question. Go for whichever you want to. 9 PM Rebel is cheaper. This kind of sits in the middle, and Supremacy Collector Edition is a bit more expensive. In terms of the blend quality as well, I can say like they all are good. But why does this make a case for this one then? Well, the answer is very simple. The Creed Aventus Absolu DNA is a bit more complex, which I feel that Collector's Edition or 9 PM Rebel for that matter did not replicate it properly. So if you are actually hellbent on getting that Aventus Absolu DNA, then nobody can do it better than this for the time being. Also, Supremacy Collector Edition does not come in a 50 ml bottle. So there are only two things that you can do. Save more and get the collector's edition, or you get a decant. Decants are basically per ml expensive than the full bottle. So there you're going to pay more just getting that 50 ml version anyway. So here the value for money lies in this particular perfume. Now the same cannot be said for Afnan 9pm Rebel. However, Afnan 9pm Rebel is not at all like Aventus Absolu DNA. It's kind of a bit different. So in case you're going for that, I can't really justify why you should be buying this and why you should not be buying Afnan 9pm Rebel. It only comes down to the point that you want something which smells like Aventus Absolu DNA. That's it. Now, one of the problems or the caveats or my complaint with Sniff N Smell is, like, I have two. One, the name. You have got an extra S, you don't have an and you have an N instead. So sometimes it's pretty hard for people to, go and find it. Although if you Google it properly, you will be able to get it. But the naming convention was a bit tough, I feel. That's my opinion. Number two, the entire packaging or the unboxing experience. What basically happened is when I basically ordered this, it came in like a plastic wrap. A giant bubble wrap around this bottle was done to secure the bottle. The packaging was like a fortress. Even if I would have dropped it like 10 times, the bottle wouldn't have broken. But the problem is it doesn't come with any box or pouch or anything for that matter. So if you're gifting it to somebody, that's a problem. If somebody is into the experience of unboxing stuff, that person will be, underwhelmed by the overall presentation, because they will only find the bottle. And then the psychology comes in like, oh my God, I spent around 1700. I didn't even get a box. So those are the things that I feel that can be improved in the future. I know somebody might say that juice is what matters the most, and maybe to 90% of you out there, that might be the case. But if you are gifting it to somebody, in that case, that like added package or that box kind of makes a bit of a difference and kind of establishes your brand into something else. My personal opinion, I can be wrong about it, but that is how I feel. So if that department is taken care of, I don't think there is any problem. And also one more thing, you have to understand that the Indian houses have an added cost to create fancy bottles because of the entire taxation things and everything going on in the country. UAE is a different country, like Middle East is a different place. The tax regime over there is a bit different, and that is the reason they are able to produce those bottles, those fancy bottles, keeping the cost at a lower end, which Indian counterparts are not able to. However, they're trying to fulfill the same with better juice quality, better blends. And I feel that over a period of time, when the market becomes more stable in India as well, we might have good bottles along with good juices developed or manufactured rightly over here in India. Okay. So in the future that might happen. But in the middle of this, I want to discuss one more sample that I ordered from them, which is this one. This is called the Japa. This is a 2 ml sample that I got from them. And this is their take on Maison Crivelli's Hibiscus Mahajad. I became absolutely a fan of this, and someday I'm going to buy a full bottle and I'm going to do a review about this particular one because I absolutely love it. I know this is way off the topic, but I just wanted to share that with you because I wanted to. I love that DNA so much. Someday I'm going to do it, but not now. I have to save some money and do some Clone Wars as well. So that's kind of my take on Bright Affairs by Sniff N Smell. Really good perfume. Really good way to replicate the DNA of Creed Aventus Absolu, in my opinion. There are some hiccups regarding the packaging and everything, which I think over a period of time, these houses will be able to, amend. And in terms of it standing head to head or toe to toe with the Middle Eastern brands, I felt that they did a really good job, even with the pricing, even with the smell, even with the quality of the perfume that they are providing, as well as the performance and longevity. So I think that's pretty much it with Bright Affairs from Sniff N Smell. I have a few more that I want to test as well from them, but I do need to test it out with the OGs, and that is the reason I have to wait for a bit more time before I can make the videos about those perfumes. So in the future, I will do those as well. In case you have any queries or concerns about this particular perfume or any other perfume for that matter, you know where to find me. In case you don't, it's the comment section, or you can reach out to me via the Instagram handle, which is Saga Online, and you post your queries and I will try my best to answer them as soon as possible. So with that, this is Deep signing off. I'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye-bye.